Cronkite News starts now.
Welcome to this Monday edition of Cronkite News. I'm Sean Rice.
And I'm Stephanie Rodriguez. Thank you for joining us.
Right now, President Donald Trump says he'll impose new immigration restrictions over the coronavirus, even though the United States has more confirmed COVID-19 cases than anywhere else in the world.
While details about Trump's plan remain unclear, an executive order banning all immigration into the U.S. could happen later this week. Cronkite News reporter Alexa Fuenmayor brings us local reaction to the president's announcement.
Immigrants have always been the scapegoat for America's problems, and this is no exception.
Through a tweet, President Trump has sent shockwaves through the immigrant community and its advocates. The commander-in-chief tweeting he would be signing an executive order suspending all immigration into the U.S. amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. While it is still unclear when the order will be issued, who it will affect, and how long it will last, Arizona, a border state, would be directly impacted. With unemployment filings reaching record numbers because of the virus, Republican Arizona Congressman Paul Gosar tweeted his support of the president's plans, saying that Americans must be employed first. However, Arizona immigration attorney Margarita Silva disagrees.
The economy is what it is. We didn't have enough workers to fill all the jobs before. Frankly, I think it's just distraction from the whole testing issue, so he's throwing something else out there.
Democratic Arizona Congressman Ruben Gallego agrees and tweeted that President Trump is only trying to divert the conversation away from the fact that more coronavirus testing is needed in order to safely reopen the nation's economy. In his tweet, however, President Trump says the ban is needed to combat the virus. Silva says this won't help.
Legal immigrants who come to the United States already have to pass a medical exam that tests them specifically for communicable diseases. Trying to protect the health of American citizens, this ban is not going to help that one bit.
Republican Arizona State Representative Jay Lawrence says the president's measure is important and necessary.
All of the things he has done are in the best interests of Americans. Keeping people from coming in from foreign countries, I think, is very important, and I think the president has acted wisely.
Delia Salvatierra, another Arizona immigration attorney, says this is exactly what the president wants his base to think.
Saying those types of statements will reinforce his base that he's doing everything he can to, in his words, put America first. Every single immigrant that I've ever helped gain status in this country has always put America first.
In Phoenix, Alexa Fuenmayor, Cronkite News.
The president's tweet about restricting immigration comes as the administration seeks to reopen parts of the country from the coronavirus shutdown through a phased approach. But it's also a continuation of the president's 2016 campaign promise to slow immigration.
During the daily White House press briefing yesterday, Vice President Mike Pence applauded Arizona Governor Doug Ducey's efforts to stop the spread of COVID-19. Take a listen.
But a few highlights. Governor Doug Ducey announced antibody testing for 250,000 health professionals this week and first responders, a partnership between the state and the University of Arizona.
U of A will administer the test to see if people who have recovered from coronavirus have antibodies in their system. The governor says this is an important step in identifying community exposure. The results will also help him make decisions about how to protect Arizona as a whole. In a tweet, Ducey thanked Pence for the support the administration has provided and said Arizona will focus on ramping up testing.
Hundreds of protesters gathered at the Arizona State Capitol Monday, calling on state leaders to reopen the local economy and lift Governor Ducey's stay-at-home order. Hundreds of people attended the rally, with many ignoring social distancing recommendations to stay 6 feet away from others. The demonstrators said the government has vastly overreacted to the disease. Many carried American flags or wore clothes with messages supporting President Trump. But advocates for reopening the state were not the only ones there. A number of healthcare workers also took a stance, wearing face masks and holding signs to keep the stay-at-home orders in place. Ducey's spokesman says while he appreciates the passion of the protesters, he will keep following the advice of health officials. Despite the protest, 82% of likely voters in our state are following Ducey's executive order. That's according to new polling data from OH Predictive Insights. The data collected from 600 phone surveys in April also found 16% of Arizonans are not staying home. Of those respondents, 12% claim they are not leaving their house for any reason, with only 3% of likely voters saying they have not altered their day-to-day lives since the order was put in place. The OH predictive poll was very similar to results we got from a Cronkite News Twitter poll we posted yesterday. We asked, do you think it's time to reopen Arizona? Over 360 of you voted, with about 84% saying no. We should not reopen the state yet. Nancy added, not until there is adequate testing. I plan to continue staying home and staying safe. While Kim disagreed, saying, the financial devastation is here already. If we stay this way, it's going to cause greater devastation in a different way. There has got to be another answer. And Janet posted, while I do sympathize and understand the need behind wanting things to reopen, it is so necessary to have first seen numbers drop for a couple of weeks. It's not too late to join the heated debate. Just go to our Cronkite News Facebook and Twitter feeds to weigh in.
The stimulus paychecks promised by the federal government are making their way into people's bank accounts, but those checks may not be protected from debt collectors and banks. Cronkite News reporter Dylan McKim explains why.
I checked my account and there's $1,200 direct deposit.
Brian Wittenberg received his stimulus paycheck earlier this week.
It says it's still pending, but it's usable. It's in the account.
Wittenberg considers himself fortunate. He is still able to work from home and get paid. He says if he didn't have his regular paycheck like other Americans, he would be in a tough spot.
The $1,200 by itself just isn't enough to solve anything.
But Wittenberg is also fortunate he does not have any debts with his bank, because the CARES Act does not prevent the stimulus checks from being garnished.
So when you owe money and there's a judgment against you, any creditor can ask the court for what we call a garnishment, and they can go in and take money out of your bank account.
That means banks can legally take money from individuals who have an overdrawn or negative account.
People who might be really surprised are those that have a debt to their bank and they don't realize that they've agreed to this right of set-off that allows the bank to take money out of their account without notifying them to pay off that debt.
USAA was one bank to do this. The New York Times and the American Prospect both reported cases where USAA members had some of their stimulus paycheck taken by the bank. USAA has since changed their policy and promised to pay back their members. In a statement sent to Cronkite News, a spokesman for USAA said, USAA will pause the collection of a negative account balance existing at the time their stimulus payment was deposited for 90 days. But most major banks have agreed not to interfere with the stimulus paychecks.
Most banks and the Department of Justice have taken the stance that we should really be hands-off during this time.
Frukin added that the Treasury Department could offer some protection for this money as well.
And although the Treasury Department is not supposed to actually change laws, they're only supposed to interpret them, it wouldn't surprise me to see some guidance from them that says basically hands off this money.
Dylan McKim, Cronkite News.
Many states, including Arizona, have a list of assets that are deemed exempt from debt collection.
During the coronavirus pandemic, black gold has become more of a burden than an asset. For the first time ever, the price of a barrel of oil took a sharp turn into the negatives. Storage space is reaching its limit, pushing traders to essentially pay others to take oil off their hands. This morning, with demand down about 30 million barrels a day, U.S. stocks fell at the open of trade. The Dow declined 2.2%, while the S&P 500 fell 1.7%, and the Nasdaq declined 1.2%.
Another normal part of life being affected by COVID-19 is college tours. Cronkite News reporter Madison Atkinson talked to 3 Arizona schools about how they're giving potential freshmen a look at their campus.
The University of Arizona, Arizona State, and Northern Arizona University are offering virtual college campus tours for prospective students.
We do have a virtual tour, and we've really been encouraging students to connect with us virtually. We also put up a virtual visit site, which continues to grow. About 3 weeks ago now, we launched our virtual info session.
The info session is a 20-minute presentation of what the students and families would have seen on an in-person campus tour. All 3 state universities are continuing to offer ways for incoming students to connect with current students.
We have student panels. Many of our college or academic sessions that our colleges are hosting, our colleges and schools, are including students. In many cases, the students are leading the sessions.
Arizona State has seen their virtual tour numbers increase, and students who normally would have not been able to visit the campus are now able to participate.
A significant increase in the number of international students that are participating in our virtual experiences. And so we're not seeing this as, woe is us. It's too bad we do. We're seeing this as a great opportunity to reach more people.
The 3 campuses are now offering virtual orientation too.
We did make the decision recently to move all of our orientation programs to an online virtual format.
Many colleges say students are taking more time to decide where they will attend due to the virus. NAU has postponed their deposit deadline.
A number of schools, and we're definitely in this category, have moved the traditional May 1 deposit deadline back to June 1st.
Colleges know this is a difficult time, but they are encouraging students to take advantage of their virtual resources. Madison Atkinson, Cronkite News.
In the past, plenty of sunscreen probably got used during those college tours here in Arizona, but not this year.
That's right, but we still need to know what to expect when heading out for that daily breath of fresh air. So Stephanie Bates is standing by with a look at her 8-day forecast.
You know, I'm actually enjoying that fresh air right now from my balcony before things get too hot. The triple digits will be making their way to the valley sooner than we expected. Taking a look at your Tuesday evening planner will be at 81 degrees at 6 p.m. Now, we do have winds coming out of the west just above 10 miles per hour, but those are going to trail off to a slight breeze when that sun goes down for our Tuesday evening. We'll be at 77 degrees by 8 p.m. and we're going to drop down to the low 70s by the 10 o'clock hour. Now, waking up tomorrow, we'll be at 67 degrees at 8 a.m. We're going to climb to 80 by 11, and we've got sunny, clear skies for our Wednesday afternoon. We're expected to hit our peak temperature tomorrow of 93 degrees between 2 and 5 o'clock. Expanding to look at highs across the state of Arizona for tomorrow, the lower Colorado River Valley will be topping out in the low 90s, with Yuma down south having the hottest temperature in the state tomorrow of 95 degrees. Prescott, Sedona, and Payson will all be hovering around the 70s, and Grand Canyon, Flagstaff, and Window Rock up in the high country will be peaking in the mid-60s for tomorrow. Looking ahead at the next 8 days, we're going to be flirting with those triple digits for Thursday, and those high 90s are going to stick with us for the weekend. We're going to kick off next work week with the 100-degree temps. We'll be at 102 on Monday, 101 on Tuesday and Wednesday, with lows in the low 70s. It's just about time to get out those flip-flops, t-shirts, and shorts because summer 2020 is right around the corner. For Cronkite News, I'm Stephanie Bates.
That's it for Cronkite News. From our homes to yours, thanks for watching.
For Arizona news updates throughout the day, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.